Mama Balega Mbete, a woman who is the former Speaker of Parliament, former Deputy President of South Africa, forming the upper echelons of the ANC, and of course very, very involved in making sure that you and I enjoy what we call freedom today. Mbete, I'm sorry for the long intro, but I have to do justice to the women, the many women such as yourself who took an active role in South Africa in terms of the struggle. But before we go there, let's perhaps ask you how you'll be celebrating 20 years of freedom.
Well, today I'll be attending the national orders as an invitee of the presidency, where we honor South Africans, both men and women, who've done very well in various fields. So I look forward to that, because before the new South Africa, we never used to have such an occasion, such an opportunity to celebrate ourselves, to celebrate individuals, communities that they come from, and ourselves as society in general. So when I look at where we have come from, I think at those three levels, personal, community, society at large, we've gone a long way.
Now, what we don't often speak about is the fact that the struggle was not just against apartheid in terms of non-racialism. That was the quest. But we also were looking for a non-sexist society. What does gender equality mean to you?
Gender equality means certain specific areas where we have scored victories. And these victories didn't just come overnight out of the blue. They are because there was a struggle. And the struggle made a point of also ensuring that integrated into the whole question of the struggle for liberation for our people as a whole, there was specific work focusing on this sector of women. Because when you look throughout the world, you will find that women tend to suffer at different levels, including at the level of them not being men, where you find that a woman would be doing the same work as a man, but would be paid much less than a man. So even the United Nations, the whole world, had to recognize and accept that we do have a challenge as humanity, and indeed we had a whole decade where the United Nations compelled all of us, all states that are members of it, to focus on this area and look at what each country was doing and actually encourage them. And to this day, we have a commission on the status of women coming out of that work, which was done, among others, by women from South Africa. The likes of Ruth, was part and in fact a representative of South African women at the Women's International Democratic Federation, the WIDF, who are the ones that campaigned to make sure that the United Nations had to recognize the challenge of sexism in every country, in every society. And that actually is what led to the UN adopting this need for a decade to make sure member states focus on this challenge.
And while you mentioned that there's a lot that has been achieved, we've been recognized on a global scale for our efforts in making sure that there's equality amongst men and women in South Africa, and also represented in government. Have we done enough, do you think?
I think we've done a lot. And of course, you can see it by the way we have been able to advance, including to have one of our own, a woman, to lead at the level of the continent, not leading women only on the continent, but leading Africa. And we're proud of that we've been able as South Africa to convince the whole continent that we had someone who has it to lead our continent, not just focusing on the issues of women, but looking at the needs as a leader broadly. Because this is what is important. It's not to confine women to just having to look after women and being active only in organizations that deal with the situation of women. But it is to reach a stage where you recognize the fact that this particular person can actually lead society, can lead the country. And we've done that, in fact, where the SADC countries were the ones that pushed and led the campaign for Comrade Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma to end up as the chair of the commission for the whole of the continent of Africa. And we're proud of that.
I'm glad you spoke about that, and leaders such as Umama Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma and yourself were standing side by side among the men, up in arms, making sure that the country gets liberated. I'm not going to ask you that question, but I know many people are asking. In that case, are we going to see a female leader heading up the country anytime soon, do you think?
I think that time will come, and I don't think we should panic about it, nor should we put pressure, undue pressure about it. I think the time will come, and when it comes, we will all know that it is there.
There we go. Let's leave it there. Thank you so much for coming through, just discussing the role of women in this new South Africa that we enjoy. Let's leave it there for now. More to come after.